The Reds might not realize it yet, but the A's could steal BRYAN Hayes. Today on Locked On A's.
You are Locked On A's, your daily podcast on the Athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I am your host, Booney, one name, all passion, and lifelong A's fan, bringing you everything from the clubhouse to the desert blueprint. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. So if you are watching or listening right now, smash that subscribe button and join the ride. And hey, for those of you tuning in from Nevada, catch us on Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network, Digital Channel 5.2, and Cox Channel 77, Monday through Friday at 12:30 p.m. The Desert Dynasty is being built right here, and you are part of it. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Beyond excited to be here with you today. Talking A's. What a World Series. Wow. I mean, you couldn't ask for much more than that type of World Series. 7 games, every game going down to the wire. Personally, I was rooting for the Jays, but I just wanted to watch some great baseball in the end. And yeah, we definitely got some great baseball. It's officially the end of baseball season, which brings a little bit of a tear to my eye. At the same time, it officially is the off season, and that means free agents. We're going to look at the 2026 free agent class and who the A's can target. That's later. We have 107 days till pitchers and catchers report, and the A's hot corner has been a revolving door since Matt Chapman in 2021. In 2022, it was V-My-L Machine. Now, unreal name, but as far as productivity, not so much. In 2023, the A's trotted 6 different third basemen onto the field, including Jace Peterson. In 2024, we signed J.D. Davis in the offseason. Saw Brett Harris, Tyler Nevin there as well. In 2025, Gio Urshela, Brett Harris, Max Muncy, and as of yet, no one has quite stuck. No everyday quality has emerged. Simply put, the A's have no average big league bat at third base, nor any glove worth bragging about. Although Brett Harris does intrigue me. The team clearly needs an infusion of both defense and offense at the position, ideally from a controllable young veteran. Who's on the market? I will talk about free agent third baseman on the market in a few minutes. But one third baseman who is not a free agent and I believe has an incredible upside and one of the best valued contracts in all of baseball. Enter BRYAN Hayes. Now, before you completely dismiss it, hear me out. BRYAN Hayes, 28-year-old Gold Glove third baseman who checks all the boxes. His glove is elite. Fangraph notes that since 2021, Hayes is the leader in outs against average among all infielders. And MLB StatCast shows he led all NL third basemen in defensive runs saved and outs above average last season, and third in all of baseball for all position players. Cincinnati manager Terry Francona, quote unquote, he might be the best defender in baseball. Hayes won the NL Gold Glove in 2023 and has 91 defensive runs saved since his 2020 debut, the most of any player in baseball. In short, his glove work is absolutely elite. Offensively, Hayes is far better than the A's currently have. That's for sure. He isn't a slugger, but he's shown pop and on-base skills beyond the A's current options. After a 2020 debut year, 376, 5 home runs that he couldn't quite sustain, Hayes has settled in as a 250 hitter with moderate power. In 2022-2023, he hit consistently, 271 average, and a 762 OPS in 124 games in 2023. Career highs of 15 bombs and a 453 slug. Even in 2024 and 2025, he labored. 569 OPS through mid-2025, but advanced metrics hint at upside. He sprays the ball to all fields. He swings at strikes and ranks in the 90th percentile for contact at a hard hit rate. A change of coaching and playing in a minor league ballpark might unlock his bat. Importantly, in his last 2 full seasons, Hayes was worth roughly a 4 WAR per year, a mark of an everyday player, powered mostly by his glove. For a rebuild that desperately needs a steady presence at third base, Hayes is a perfect fit. His contract and control make him even more attractive. The Pirates gave him an 8-year, $70 million extension in 2022, and the Reds picked it up wholesale when they traded for him. The A's would only pay $7 to $8 million per year from 2026 to 2029 for Hayes, a bargain by today's standards. And he would remain under club control through 2029 with a team option in 2030 for $12 million. In other words, Hayes is inexpensive, long-term security at a premium position. A's management have always said they will favor cost control players on cheap contracts. That's been their MO. Hayes checks both boxes. Despite a rough 2025 offensively, 152 games, 235 batting average, 5 bombs, 49 RBIs, OPS of 595, Hayes' track record includes above average seasons on both sides of the ball. His career OPS, 675, show there is offensive baseline to build on. And defensively, he's practically unmatched. Gold Glove in 2023, roughly a 3 WAR per season from defense, even with a weak bat. In short, he's been roughly a 4 WAR player, 2/3 of that from defense in healthy years. Adding Hayes to the current A's roster would give this core a steady veteran anchor. He can slot in at third while the kids develop around him. Hayes' calm approach and elite defense would also balance a lineup of high strikeout but high upside hitters. Hayes would complement them. He brings glove, gap power where the A's currently have a vacuum. By contrast, Hayes is only 28 years old, locked up cheaply through 2029. And at his peak defensively, he gives a similar glove edge to Matt Chapman, but at half the cost and far more team control compared to other guys like a Eugenio Suarez. Brian Hayes is 5 years younger and cost controlled. In summary, Hayes represents a rare blend of a premium glove, legitimate bat, and future control, a combo almost impossible to find in the open market. Now, why would the Reds even consider moving Hayes after all I've said? They just gave up a reliever, Taylor Rogers, and a top 10 prospect for him. Simple. 2022 first-round pick, 22-year-old Sal Stewart, who has been impressive to say the least. Sal Stewart is legit. The A's should be aggressive for Hayes this offseason. He would instantly plug the A's biggest hole, third base. With a Gold Glove defender and a decent bat, we would literally have the 2 best defensive players in all of baseball, in Denzel Clark in center field and Brian Hayes at third base. Defense matters. We're not giving up a lot. Hayes is younger, locked up for longer, and offers a defensive edge that these ballparks reward. And I believe his bat will come around. Brian Hayes would transform the A's defense while bringing enough offense to be a marked upgrade. His team-friendly multi-year contract fills a rebuild budget, and his age at 28 years old are prime for a vault back to respectability. The A's should explore a deal now. If you're still shaking your head and saying absolutely not on Brian Hayes, I'm going to tell you what other third basemen are on the free agent market and what they will cost. Up next. NFL season is back, and honestly, there's nothing better than being in the stadium surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it is frustrating. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You will always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. I pulled up Game Time, and in just a couple taps, I saw amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100. The app made it super simple. I could even see the exact view from my seat before buying. I love zone deals as well. Pick the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save big. Honestly, it's faster, cheaper, and less stressful than any other way I have bought tickets. Download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. Why the A's should trade for BRYAN HAYES and why it makes sense. Guys, listen. Do you think I like doing this? Do you think I like searching for possible free agents and automatically scrolling all the way down to the bottom of the list and doing an analysis on somebody like Jose Iglesias from the Padres? No, I don't. Don't you think I'd rather go right to the top of the list and see what it would take to get someone like a Eugenio Suarez and the Alex Bregmans of the world? Absolutely. But we are who we are. We play in a minor league ballpark. And will things change in Las Vegas in 2028? Will the A's finally open up their wallets? I think so. But for right now, for 2026, we are who we are. And we got to find players that make sense to the restraints the A's ownership and management have. This year, in the offseason, the A's are set to spend approximately $33 million. Maybe a little bit more. I believe a majority of that money, and I'm hoping, will extend guys like Nick Kurtz and Jacob Wilson and Tyler Soderstrom. There will be a little bit of money remaining after that. One of the biggest holes the A's have going into 2026 is at third base. Right now, what do we have? In our infield, we got Langoliers locked up at catcher. You have Nick Kurtz locked up at first base. You have Jacob Wilson locked up at short. That's who we know. With regard to second base and third base, there's a lot of questions. Obviously, Leo DeVries, 19 years old, phenom. Will he be ready? Wait and see. Max Muncy can play either position. Showed signs that he could be that guy last year. But overall, didn't have the best year. And in the Arizona Fall League so far this year, hasn't looked the best. And defensively, he's a liability. We have Brett Harris. He is at the level of BRYAN HAYES defensively. We don't know if he could hit yet. I still think he's an intriguing option. And of course, Zach Geloff at second base, who is at an elite level defensively, but right now can't hit his weight. Obviously, we have Darell Hernandez, who I believe will play that super utility role. He can play third, he can play short, he can play second. We needed a legitimate third baseman in order to fill that hole with so many question marks. Who's out there? Who's on the free agent market right now? Another thing I want you to remember as far as the A's. we have to pay a premium. Call it a minor league tax for getting these free agents. Not necessarily a tax, but we do have to pay a premium in order to sway free agents to come to Sacramento. If you want to take Luis Severino as a comp, we're talking about a 30 to 40% premium. Third baseman on the market this year, Alex Bregman. Forget it. We're not signing him. His value, according to Spot Track, is around $27.5 million. You got Eugenio Suarez at around $15 million, which leaves you options such as a Isaiah Kiner-Falefa from Toronto, 31 years old, 2 bombs, hit .262, 40 RBIs in 138 games. Believe it or not, what Spot Track has him valued at is $5.3 million. So in other words, in order for the A's to get somebody like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, we would have to probably offer something like 2 years, 14, 2 years, $15 million. No thanks. You got a Yoán Moncada from the Angels, who is intriguing. His value right now is at about $4.5 million, meaning about 2 years, $12 million, something the A's would have to offer in order to get him. Last week I went down, I told you, I talked about Jose Iglesias from the Padres. 2 years, $6 million it would take to get him. How about our old friend Miguel Andujar? I love Miguel Andujar. If you are an everydayer, you know how much I love Miguel Andujar. But his value, $6.1 million, meaning the A's would probably have to go 2 years, $15 million. He played 94 games this year, Miguel Andujar, the most games he's played since his rookie year. It's always the same thing with Andujar, just not reliable as far as being healthy. As far as defensively, serviceable. But yeah, the kid can bang, that's for sure. Chris Taylor from the Angels. No thanks. That's what you're looking at. That's what the free agents look like right now. I want to tell you something here. In 2023, Ke'Bryan Hayes played in 124 games. He hit .271, 15 home runs, 61 RBIs, OPS of .762, and a 4 WAR. Last year, Alex Bregman for the Red Sox in 114 games hit .273, 18 home runs, 62 RBIs, 822 WAR. 822 OPS, 3.49 WAR. He's due to make $28 million. He'll sign a contract worth probably $150 million. And his numbers were the same as Ke'Bryan Hayes, and Ke'Bryan Hayes is much better than Bregman defensively. That goes without saying. Am I saying Ke'Bryan Hayes is Alex Bregman? No. But what I am saying is that Ke'Bryan Hayes, at his current contract, at $7 million due next year for Ke'Bryan Hayes, compared to $28 million for Alex Bregman, is an absolute steal. Now, I do think it makes sense for the Reds to deal Hayes. It absolutely makes sense. With Stewart sitting right there, it makes no sense for them not to deal Hayes. What would it take to get somebody like Ke'Bryan Hayes, if I've convinced you or help you to kind of side with me just a little bit? Some of you maybe. I suggested somebody like a Justin Sterner. It might take more. It might take a prospect, maybe like a Colby Thomas and a reliever. If you're still absolutely like, no way, we can't do that. All right, fair enough. Fair enough. So who do we get this year? Or you may be simply, hey, let's scratch third base. Let's ride and die with Max Muncy, Brett Harris, Geloff will be who he was at second base. If not, Darell Hernandez is a nice option, steady infielder, decent bat, good speed. Maybe that's what you're saying. Maybe you're like, hey, let's go get a closer. Let's go get a reliever. Let's get a starting pitching. Fair enough. Let's check out what's in the free agent market up next. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you are following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere Prize Picks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. I've been using Prize Picks during both football Sundays and NBA tip-offs. It keeps every game exciting. I like picking my favorite players like Mahomes and Steph Curry to see how my predictions play out. The new Stacks feature is a game changer. You can now pick more on Steph's points, threes, and assists in the same lineup. Plus, if one of your players leaves early with an injury, the injury reboot saves my lineup from a loss. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Thank you for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. For your second listen, check out Locked On MLB. Sully will keep you up to date on everything that is going on in the off season. You can find Sully on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. One of the best in the business with regard to covering baseball, that's for sure. But today, we're talking A's, free agents, a possible BRYAN HAYES trade. Now, I understand most of you out there and don't like the idea of trading anybody for BRYAN HAYES. BRYAN HAYES hasn't had a good year offensively for the last couple of years. And the idea of getting rid of anybody we currently have for somebody like Hayes is not an option. The big thing we've been hearing mostly is like, hey, the A's need starting pitching. Fair enough. Who's out there? Who can the A's get on the free agent market? Well, first of all, we're not getting the big guys. Just get that out of your head. Framber Valdez, nope. Ranger Suarez, nope. Dylan Cease, nope. Michael King, nope. Zach Gallen, nope. We're not getting any of those guys. And we're not trading for Hunter Green. I want to. I would love to. We just don't have the bullets right now to do so. The guys we're looking at, the guys that we are targeting if you want a starting pitcher, are guys like a Miles Mikolas from St. Louis, who will cost the A's something like 2 years, $16 million. A Tyler Anderson from the Angels, same type of price. These guys ain't cheap. Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer would demand close to $10 million for 1 year. Again, you got to remember, A's have to pay a premium. Patrick Corbin from the Rangers would cost like 2 years, $13 million. And I got to ask you, do you really believe a Max Scherzer, a Justin Verlander, a Patrick Corbin, even there's a Kyle Hendricks out there we can get, a Miles Mikolas, do you really believe those guys that we pick up are better than the possibilities we have at pitching right now? I don't. Therefore, I don't want to sign any of those guys. If you're not going to make our team better, why go out and get them? And I've talked about it before on several occasions. This year's 2026 free agent class isn't the best. How about relievers? Who are possible relievers we can get? Nick Martinez from the Reds. Value on him is 14.2. You're meaning we got to spend like 3 years, $48 million for Nick Martinez? No thanks. Kenley Jansen. Value on him is 13.6. 2 years, $32 million. We'll do it for Kenley Jansen. Ryan Helsley, same type of deal. Emilio Pagan, slightly less. Sir Anthony Dominguez. It would take about 2 years, $24 million to get him. Luke Weaver, 2 years, $22 million. I mean, geez, everybody is expensive. Devin Williams, 2 years, $14 million it would take to get him. I don't want those guys for that price. I don't feel like they are significantly better than what we have in order to pay that much money for them. Would I like everybody? Sure, absolutely. But at the same time, we have to stay realistic of who we can get. And always the question, guys, always the question you got to ask yourselves. Who do you want to replace? Who do you want to get? What is it going to cost you? And can we get them? I like what we're doing. I like where we're at. I love the price on Ke'Bryan Hayes. And remember, we don't have to pay any type of premium for a Ke'Bryan Hayes because he comes over in a trade. I love the idea of getting Ke'Bryan Hayes. And I'm going to stick with it. I hope David Forst pursues Ke'Bryan Hayes aggressively. I love the move, guys. I love the cost. I love the upside. And he is somebody who is young enough that can help us now and in Vegas. Glove alone, he does that. Ke'Bryan Hayes is beyond a bargain. Look at his contract. Look what he's making. Look who we are. In Vegas, maybe we turn the corner. We have an incredible week lined up for you. We're going to talk waterfalls. Not those kind of waterfalls, but the waterfall tax system that is going on in Las Vegas that will make sure that not one taxpayer not attending a game will have to pay $1 in taxes. We're going to talk 2007 to 2014 Oakland A's and continue our series of part 2, when winning wasn't enough. And we're going to have Jesse Goldberg Strassler on later this week. Play-by-play and voice of the High A Lansing Lugnuts to talk some prospects, who's in the pipeline, who's getting promoted, who can be in Sacramento or in Vegas very, very soon. And as always, thanks for making Locked On A's your first listen of the day. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.